I don't know about you, but during this coronavirus pandemic, I feel like I'm watching a lot of things from a distance. Perhaps that's why today's Bible passage really spoke to me. Actually, to say it spoke to me is an understatement. It captivated me. I was absolutely transfixed and mesmerized by one part of the story which I don't think I ever noticed or heard before. According to the gospel or the good news of Matthew, when Jesus took his last breath, there were a series of events. The curtain in the temple tore from top to bottom, and the earth shook, the rocks slid, and the tombs of the saints were opened, and the holy ones rose up. There was a resurrection. When Jesus died, the holy ones rose up. The saints came out of their tombs and they appeared to many, and there were witnesses. The Roman officers, the captain and his buddies, the keepers of the empire, they saw it, they witnessed it, and they silenced it. Why? Because they were terrified. When the holy ones rose up, the authorities were terrified. And it wasn't just the authorities who witnessed this resurrection of the saints. There were also women there who were watching from a distance. There were women watching from a distance. Mary of Magdala was there. You know, Mary, the one everyone likes to talk about. Mary of Magdala, the one people have accused of being a prostitute. And Jim and Joe's mother, Mary, was also there. And the Zebedee woman, who isn't even given a name. These women weren't just watching from a distance, they were being kept at a distance. They were being held at a distance. One, by being called names, the other by not even given a name. The women who were called names, the women without names, watched from a distance. And even from a distance, I'm sure they were filled with emotions. I'm sure they were overwhelmed with grief and horror and awe. Ooh, the cat just moved the table. Ooh, and the holy ones rose up, right? Anyway, these women who watch from a distance, I'm going to move my table back now. Go away, kitty. These women who watched from a distance made a plan, and they made a plan to stick together. Even after the ground shook and the curtains were torn and the tombs broke open and the saints rose up, these women knew there was even more difficult stuff. So they made a plan to get up early in the morning and go back to the tomb so they could take care of the body of Jesus. You know, for some reason, I've always had this picture in my mind of what that early morning looked like. Somewhere along the line, I got this idea that when they met in the morning, everything was neat and tidy, and like their clothes were all clean and their faces were shining and the landscape was serene. And then there was the angel, who of course was white and gleaming. And now, you know what? I realize this couldn't be. It just could not be. Not after such a major disruption. Not after an earthquake and a rock slide and the world being turned upside down. Not to mention the graves that were split open and the holy ones who rose up. somehow don't think it was a neat and tidy scene when those women met in the morning, went back to the tomb to take care of Jesus. You know, when they got there, there was even more disruption. When they arrived at the tomb, there was another earthquake and another rock slide. And then this angel appears, an apparition from heaven, who spoke their language, who knew what to say so they could hear him or her. Don't be afraid, the angel said. Jesus has gone ahead of you. Go, tell the others. And the holy ones rose up. And the holy ones responded with new life in the midst of death and destruction. The women who watched from a distance were not silenced. They were brave. They were determined. They stuck together. They saw angels. They saw saints. And they were bold enough and brave enough to go and tell the others. In so many ways, we are also watching major disruption from a distance. We are watching a pandemic. And we are also witnessing many, many, many saints and holy people rise up. There are saints insisting that the way of this world become new and the ways of this world become different. There's my dogs. We are part of this holy rising up. We are part of this movement. We are the movement. We are a movement for wholeness in a fragmented world. Even as, and even if we watch from a distance. Go on, friends. Go. Tell others.